Annyeonghaseyo friends, and welcome back to the Torsie channel for more IU, and a happy Friday day to you. We are carrying on with a little bit more of 23 and the chat sheer journey. After last week, I got some more recommendations of 23 stages, and one of them was the changed version of 23 for the original soundtrack for the producer. I am super interested in seeing this. I saw a little image of the outfit she's wearing. That was enough to intrigue me, let alone a re-record, and I've just read the lyrics and oh my good lord, this is right up my alley. You know that it is. Over on Patreon today, we will be watching 23 at the Love Poem concert. I was told to watch the version that was at DLWLRMA. However, I can't find a nice recording of it. Everything is a little bit dodgy and bad sound and everything. So if you do have a link to that, please let me know. But otherwise, these will be the last couple of 23s that we watch, and then we will go on to more chat stuff. Let's get going with this rather racy version of 23. Let's go. Catch ya. Oh my god. Wow. This is amazing.
당신의 스위치는 어디죠? 찾아가도 되나? 가본 적 없는 곳을 보여줘.
Oh, I'm so happy about this.
나를 숨이 차게 데려가도 좋아요. 좋아요. I'm not 23. 아파질지도 몰라. I'm not 23. 나를 놓치지 마. I'm not 23. 하루 것만 기다려. I'm not 23. 품에 내가 삐연삐연나.
I think I'm having a heart attack. Yes, go! Oh my god! Whoa! Oh my god. Murder me in my sleep. Ooh. I mean, I read the lyrics. I was like, whoa, what an update. And obviously, I need some sort of context for Cindy and the producer, but out of context and just admiring that as a twist on 23. Oh, God. Well, a side of IU that I haven't seen yet, which I freaking love. I mean, we've touched on it. We've touched on it with Jam Jam and Red Queen. We touched on the idea of sexuality and knowing what you want. But not like that. Not like that. Not so very overt like that. I freaking love it. I loved every second of that. We know how I feel about the power of sexuality and owning oneself and bodily autonomy. We know how I feel about this. She puts it through so much of her music and her performances that you can't help but come back to it. It's a theme. Like, it's clearly a theme. It'll be really interesting to look at her older stuff, especially, because when she was younger, there's probably not going to be a trace of that, or it's going to be a different element of autonomy and self-ownership and confidence in oneself. It probably is going to be manifested in different ways when she was younger and her earlier albums. That's me guessing, but starting to understand her as a writer, that's what I would assume. Very different story when you're 23 and you get to really step forward into that space and not have to worry about the judgment of you're too young or you can't talk about those things, you can't do those things. At 23, although it's early 20s, no one can deny you're an adult at that point. Ooh, that choreography. I mean, you read the lyrics and there was the lyric of words to the effect of "don't tie me up, I'm sensitive," something like that. And of course that can be read literally or metaphorically. But with that choreography, it makes it really quite literal, makes it really very, very literal. Metaphorically, don't tie me up, I'm 23, I want to be free. In the context of chat share, there's a lot of wanderlust, a lot of wanting to be free, a lot of running around and adventuring. So the idea of being tied up or tied down would put a damper on all of her hopes and dreams for her 23rd year of her life. That's in the context of 23 in chat share. Of course, this is separated and different, so we can very much put with the choreography that, hey, maybe it's literal, especially because then a couple of bars later she runs her fingernails down someone's back. God, I love that so much. I love that so much. We had more of a modernization. I spoke about the elements of Fosse when we were watching Jam Jam, and that was a lot more classical Fosse where everything was quite restrained. We had almost a contemporary version of Fosse with that. The dancers were doing more than you would typically do in Fosse choreography. Fosse has a lot of frozen moments with isolations, so everyone has struck a tableau and then maybe just like a hand is going, or a foot is rotating or something like that. Sometimes it's just a finger. Fosse really does a lot with very little. But there was such a thing as Fosse arms, and I feel like maybe I'm going to have to film this and put it on TikTok or something. Put it on my social media somewhere. But she had Fosse arms at some point. Let's see if I can do it on camera. Where you would roll your shoulders back, elbows behind your back. That's a good look. And you wave your arms from side to side behind your back. And she had that moment there where she was doing it with the hip movements. The hips were going with her hands. I think her hands were clenched at that point. Extremely Fosse move. That fluidity, that's very him. And then of course creating the shape of the dancers, encircling her, and then having these moments that we've seen in the original 23 and again we saw in Jam Jam, where they really make her the focal point and the center point there, which I spoke about, I think it was on the Patreon video last week. Yes, it was. It was on the Patreon video last week because it was 23 at a special SBS concert. And it was the full complement of dancers. It was really impressive. And they did a really good job of making sure that no matter where IU was on the stage, she was the center. And it meant that she had the control of the stage and of the dancers, because where she went, everyone went with her. Speaking a lot to the boldness and the confidence of that song, because what always strikes me about the original 23 is the confidence with which she talks about that she has no idea. But then this takes the confidence much further to a whole other level of, I know exactly what I want. And so now everybody centering around her and orbiting around her, and that control she has is for a really particular goal that she is absolutely going to achieve. And that's why she can puppeteer everybody. I talked about the pace of original 23 and how it goes like a runaway train. It's going, and it's going forward, and very boldly and confidently forward, even though she doesn't know which path she's going to take. This slowed down beat, it's like molasses, the way she just moves through it like that. That's the leisure of somebody who knows exactly what they're doing. And she may not know exactly what she's doing, because one of the lines is, "This may hurt." So she might be walking into something where she, maybe she isn't fully experienced in what's going to happen because the doubt is there. This may hurt. It might not. We don't know. But The leisurely pace is of somebody who has made up their mind and so no longer needs to run. There is a really frantic nature to the original 23, which we also saw in the music video where she's running back and forward, throwing things around. The frantic nature of somebody who's trying to figure it out. While this reimagined version, it's been figured out. And so she can now move at a slow, steady pace because she doesn't require that hectic searching. I love it so much. Oh my God. I spoke about on the Patreon video how what she was wearing was textured. It was velvet. And so she was doing sort of a bit of a Cheshire Cat thing, having the purple fluff and the fluff around her wrists. Very cat-like. This is cat-like in a different way, having the spandex shorts, which I would like, please. Give them to me. It turns it more into a cat suit. It's more on the slinky, sexy side of when we think about something being cat-like. The garter around her thigh, it's evoking lingerie, that ideal image we have in our heads of if you ever to sort of turn up in someone's boudoir in fabulous lingerie, there would probably be a garter in there. We're touching on a completely different element of what we associate with cats. Being cat-like in that way is that very slinky, very purposeful movement. If you ever watch a cat when it's about to pounce on something, it doesn't go jogging up to whatever it is and springs at it. They move incredibly slowly and incredibly purposefully. So there she is in this slinky outfit, moving slowly and with purpose and undulating her body when she does move. Lots of that very, you know how cats are almost liquid? That really liquid movement with a little collar on and everything. Totally different spin. No more the grinning Cheshire Cat that's contradictory and confusing. We have the cat that's actually in control and seeking its prey. Oh, I could watch that a million times. Woo! She made my heart race. Oh, girl. Oh, girl. The crush is real. What I love about that particular brand of sexiness, although it is overt, there's nothing tacky about it. That beautiful, Fosse-esque, elegant movement, even if the movement is not just suggestive, but in fact overt. The hands above the head, the nails down the back, the running the hands down the legs as she sort of sinks down his back and everything. That's not exactly subtle, but it is elegant and stayed on this side of actually being sexy. Oh, my heart, it's still beating really fast. Oh my God, I love that so much. In case you haven't heard yet on one of my other videos, I am going to take a little bit of time off over the Christmas period. So next week and the week after, which is Christmas week, I am going to be having a little break and seeing my family and resting and all that good stuff. The shows that we're watching on Patreon, so Hotel de Luna and Sea of Hope and We Got Married, are going to continue over that period, but the rest of my videos are going to have a little break. And then I come back with a vengeance and we keep going with chat share and a million other things because we've just got so much more ahead of us, which I love. Thank you so much for joining me. Kamsahamnida and sarangeyo, and I will see you soon for more. Annyeong!